Good evening, race fans. This is PSGL's F11, where we go full screen and full throttle for your enjoyment this evening. We're just gearing up with the lobby right now, and we'll be underway very, very shortly. My name is Webbo. I'm new to PSGL, but not new to commentary, and neither is my commentary partner for the evening, experienced F1 gamer, and a good friend of mine. This is Branch on the other side of the Atlantic. Hey, Branch.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Uh, well, I can't tell you how excited I am for us to all get going very shortly. I believe I've just got to make an adjustment to the lobby. Not only am I commentating for the first time on PSGL tonight, but I'm also hosting the lobby due to an absence of our admins at short notice. So forgive me for just fiddling with a few bells and whistles right now. I'll be with you very, very shortly.
Just to mention, oh yeah, you're fixing it right now.
I
Actually, never
think
mind.
I've got it. I think that's how it should be now, hopefully. Okay, so I think we're almost there with our drivers. We've got 15 in the lobby right now. So I will tell everybody to get going. I think that is all she wrote. Welcome. If you're joining us on the stream, please let us know who you're here supporting, who are you watching for, and let us know what your predictions are for the race, because we're all new here, and this is a brand new game. I've been able to do a little bit of research and found some of our drivers, and we'll talk you through that very shortly. But yeah, this is a voyage into the unknown for us all, Branch.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, with the new game, there's a lot of new physics to worry about, and even if we did know much about our drivers today, we wouldn't know much about their pace necessarily, because this is the first race of this new season on this new game. So, pace, as we know, has been jumbled around a bit. Some people are a lot faster than they used to be in F1 2020. Some people have taken a step back. So
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how these drivers are able to handle the new game in a league racing setting.
yeah, I completely agree. It's brilliant to go back to Bahrain, where drivers have a lot of experience as they debut here tonight, and we can enjoy seeing what everybody's up to. In fact, I mentioned that we're all new here. Well, actually, we have two drivers who have continued in F11 after last season. Those drivers are Jimmy, who finished F11 in 8th place. So Jimmy Allen here, listed as number 1 on the grid right now. And last season he scored a 5th place, I believe, in Bahrain. And Jamie, who finished 13th in the league of F11, and didn't score points in Bahrain last year. But we have two drivers who have dropped down from F10, two that have stepped up. Dropped down from F9. We've had two. We've got two drivers stepped up from F10, and we've got one driver who's actually made the jump, Branch, from F12 up to F11, ready for us to get going tonight. And that driver
All right.
is Salad, who he was looking forward to me getting going with his name, but I'm going to go with Salad, looking at P11 right now, just for the interests of not making a mistake while we're in the middle of everything.
I can't lose sponsors.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, Branch, Bahrain is a place our drivers spend a lot of time, and I know you've spent a lot of time at Bahrain as well. What are the challenges the drivers are looking forward to tackling tonight?
Well, specifically with this track, the curbs have been definitely more dangerous on this game than they were in the last game. Specifically, we talk about turn 6 and 7, the fast right to left-hander. Turn 10 as well is probably one of the more difficult turns, not only in this track, but in the game in general.
Yeah.
Very difficult, hard braking, wall turning left-hander. So it will be interesting to see how the drivers are able to take that. And obviously, once again, turn 12, the auto spin curve that I think everyone knows about at this point. You just don't touch that curve.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
It's very, very tricky. It looks like very much a kind of start and stop kind of track, but it's anything but. And as Branch mentioned, 3 key areas on the track to stay away from curbs and be pretty nervous about going too close to everything, and each other, particularly on things like stoppages that we might have. Branch, I think, given that he's carrying over from his F11 experience last time, should we ride on board with Jimmy Allen and you can talk us through his first attempt at a safe banker lap?
absolutely. Coming through that last corner right there, as we see a Williams off to the right there. Down the straight, we got a pretty good exit out of that last corner, although exit out of the last corner on this track isn't super vital to your lap time. You can get a pretty good launch. Down to this heavy braking zone into turn 1. Misses the apex slightly, but not too much to worry about there. Good apex there, avoiding that curve on the right. You can take it, but you do have to balance the car very well on top of it if you're going to do so. Down to the second heavy braking, a very sweeping right-hander, takes it very well, avoids that exit curb. Here we go into turn 6 and 7. It looks like he's taking it pretty safely right now, trying to make sure he just gets through that section. Possibly in a later lap will take those curbs a little bit heavier. Coming into the heavy turn 10 braking, doesn't lock up, pretty good turn there. Doesn't get a super great acceleration out of the corner, but once again, only a banker lap. Just trying to make sure he gets around the lap this time. Sweeping left-hander now, taking a little bit of curb, good exit. Down to the flat-out right-hander, just barely missing the curb. Another heavy braking zone, sweeping through and down the final straight before your lap ends. One final corner to go. Once again, another heavy braking zone. Just barely tapping that curb on the inside before throwing down the power. And it's now just a drag race to the finish, and he will get a 125.6 to start out.
125.6, and that goes second place with Phase Max in provisional pole. We've got Jamie, Vettel, Joni Mata, and Raven have set laps so far. Let's see if we can find someone else who's out there circulating fast. Florian for the line now in the McLaren. Florian goes P4 on a 25.8. What do you think likelihood tonight, Branch, of our drivers getting below the 25s?
I don't know much about the pace today, but if they're able to set 125.5s on their first lap, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 124 by the end of this session. Right,
absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. I hope so. But given the nature of the evaluation criteria for PSGL, of course, we do end up with very closely matched grids, and that's the whole idea, is that you end up with really good races and competitive grids. Bob goes up to P8 in the Red Bull on a 26.8, but on the medium tyres, along with Joni Mata and Franco as well, all on the soft tyres. I believe Salad just went in fourth, Branch, 25.8 in the Red Bull. Nice early time. And let's join Sarge, who's on a lap right now in the Williams.
Yeah, the last of the ones that are currently out. Not surprised to see very many people out on the mediums. You know, with the one stop being as prominent as it is in Bahrain, to be able to start on the mediums in the top 10 would be an extreme advantage over those who don't.
Yeah.
So that's why we're seeing drivers come out on the medium tires when you normally wouldn't, I would say.
I mean, this track just chews up and spits out tyres.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very, very high degradation. So any advantage you can get on that strategy, the better. You don't want to be preserving your tyres for too long. As Sarge goes P7 on the soft tyres with just Franco on mediums ahead of him, a 26.4 for Sarge. And all the drivers currently in the pits that have set times so far, they're just adjusting their setups last minute. And getting themselves ready to go. I think that Panda is out there in the gorgeous Aston Martin, especially under these lights of Bahrain, and he's about to fire out onto his first hot lap.
Yeah, I gotta say, I do really like the Aston Martin livery in this game, especially compared to the Racing Point livery. I didn't mind the pink, but green's definitely better.
Yeah, no, for sure. Panda just leaving a little bit of time on the apex of turn 1, but getting a good drive out and heading down towards that turn 4. Very easy to invalidate on the exit of 4 branch.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done it pretty much half the time I try and do practice laps at this place. I end up invalidating right there. It's so easy to just try and get on the power as early as possible, but as early as possible is not as early as you normally think it is.
I mean, it's got a blind apex and a blind exit, so it's really about getting the reps in on this track.
Yeah, and unfortunately for those people who race on this game, the track limits that we saw in real life don't exist in this simulation. So
not just yet, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone's hoping for some adjustments to the track extending to come from Codemasters, but I'm sure they're very busy at the moment building the 3 tracks that we've been promised. Lots of love for Franco in the chat. Lots of Franco fans and Argentinian flags out there. So he's certainly got a lot of support. Panda then for the line on a 27.5. Sorry, Branch, what was that?
Mancini and the Mercedes goes fast as the 125.4 provisional pole with just about half the session left to go.
So we're not seeing anybody troubling those sub 125 times just yet. Hopefully we will shortly. Looks like Raven is on their way in the pits, and I think it's just Jovi who's out there yet to set a time, and he's just heading into turn 10 nicely through there.
And nice to see it. We have a Gio in the Alfa Romeo, we have a Vettel in a Ferrari.
Good catch. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. A great grid out here tonight.
Yeah, we do have a few reserves driving tonight who have got fairly random allocation of teams. So everyone's dying to see Franco on board. We'll perhaps go to Franco next. He's just on an outlap, so we'll watch Jovi finish his, and then we'll catch him with Franco. Keep the fans happy, of course. And here we go for the line, and just an 11th place. Franco now is coming up to finish off his outlap, so we can ride on board, Branch, and check out what all the fuss is about.
Yeah, in the AlphaTauri, looking to get higher than P7, I assume. His first lap, I believe, is on mediums, and it was a fairly strong lap for the medium tire, so I would expect to see at least some time made up on this lap. We'll see how much time. Just a second. Oh, he got us a little wide, and that's going to be an invalidation.
Oh, and that's an invalidation, absolutely, yeah. So we won't see just how good Franco is just yet. Maybe we put too much pressure. As Phase Max drops the bar to a 125.2, we've got Phase Max, Joni Mater, and Huberto Mancini, our top 3 right now. We've got multiple different manufacturers in the top of the grid. No one's dominating just yet. Just looking here at Jamie out there on a lap, throwing the car in to 4, just avoiding any problems with Raven on the approach to 5, and he'll head down the hill. Thankfully, Jonah Mater out of the way.
Yeah, this track is a good one in terms of traffic. You don't normally have to deal with it. There's a lot of places for the drivers to get off the track, or even just off the racing line, to avoid anyone who's on a pass lap.
Right. Lots of wide moments. Fortunately, we just get this constant string of yellow flag markers, but it's not a big problem in qualifying. Everyone so far managing to stay on track. I wonder if Minty might have just distracted. Sorry, I wonder if Matty would have just distracted Jamie there, going into turn 13. Anyway, heading for the line.
An Alpine, one of the other new liveries in this F1 2021.
And a P2. A P2 for Jamie. Great stuff in the Alpine, yeah. too many blue cars and blue icons for my liking, Branch. But it's good to have the new liveries. Definitely keeps it fresh and interesting. Just checking in here with Jimmy. Jimmy Allen is back on fast lap, finishing that lap out. Let's see what we've got.
Fourth gear through that final turn. Tend to see a lot of people going through third gear to keep the revs high, but it's like he thought fourth was better.
Yeah, no major improvement.
So we'll stay fifth place.
Oh, Florian just catches on into turn 13. Florian just catches the invalidation, so he won't be improving this time out either. Who else is out there running fast? We've got Bob just goes up to P5. Branch on a 25.5, and it's very, very close. Within a second for the top 10 at this point.
Yeah, we're keeping it close right now.
It's pretty cool.
Still haven't seen that 124 yet, but only 2/10 off for FaZe, and I wouldn't be surprised if anyone else has hidden their pace up to this point. I think Sarge has come into the line right now in the Williams, and he's going to go 8th place with a 125.8.
Nice. We've got Huberto is a shade under his time into the first sector. He's got a Ferrari looking ahead of him on track, so that might cause a little bit of problems for him, but so far so good as far as I can see on screen. He's currently P4. A small improvement would see him up to P3 and possibly even P2 if he can get a 1/10 of a second under his existing time. So margins are very, very slim at the front of the field, and a small thing like a toe or a small hesitation could really affect our drivers. He took huge amount of apex into 13 and kept it on the island. Very, very nicely done.
Yeah, it looked like he may have lost a little bit of time doing it, but nonetheless keeps it going. Let's see if he's able to improve his time at all, get into the top 3. And that will be
top 2. Yeah, lovely work from Huberto. So gets a Mercedes on the provisional front row. We've got 3 minutes 20 left of our first qualifying session in this F11 season. So far, Branch, so very, very good indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. We should start to see a lot of the drivers head out of the pits in the next minute or so, with the laps being around 1.5 minutes. You want to have about 2 minutes to get out on track and get yourself warmed up and ready to go for that final lap.
Unless, of course, it's only going to lead to a traffic jam, and then you've kind of hampered yourself. So Panda right now running off the sequence of the main bulk of the drivers, and it's working out for him at the moment into sector 1, 2/10 of an improvement. He does need to get himself off that back row of the grid.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of time to make up. As you can see, only 400ths in between him and 12th place, but then after that there is a 3/10 gap between 12th and 11th. So he's got a lot of time to make up if he wants to get into that top 10.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's got a second improvement.
Very, very nice.
First 2 sectors right there.
Yeah, he needs that as well. I mean, to get up to beyond the position he's on, he does need a full second. There's a big hole for him to fall into, and try and get Gio in the Alfa Romeo. And he does even better than that, a 1.293 improvement up to P12 for Panda. So a very successful run there in quali, and he's going to get out of the way of FaZe Max, who's currently on a lap. Vettel.
They just came out of the pits, actually.
Vettel is just spun completely around, pushing a little bit too hard. I hope.
That one?
Yeah, Vettel spins in Bahrain. Yeah, not the first time. You're right. But yes, P10 at the moment, and no improvement for him at the moment. Hopefully, though, he will have been able to save something left in his tyres, get round before the timing beam gets to 0, and at least have one more try. Jonimator in pole, 125.145. And that's all they wrote for Jonimator. No more, I don't think, any more action won't get round at this pace. So just avoiding everybody and trying to get out of everybody's eye line as they head back into the pits. Jimmy Allen's on a hot lap from 6th place.
Vettel, after that spin, decided to go ahead and head into the pits, so with how much time is left on the board, it looks like that his 1:26.0 will be his qualifying time.
Right.
Jimmy, 2.5 tenths down after the first sector. Lots of improvement right there.
Yeah, this could get in 1 or 2 places. Let's watch with him. He's maintained that. Yeah.
So he's got a little bit more time to make up if he wants to crack that top 4. Only has 1 corner left to do it now. That was a pretty good corner though. Good acceleration out of it.
Right on the limit of backing the car into the corner. And Jimmy up to P3. Awesome, yes. Awesome lap for him. Let's watch with FaZe though, because I think FaZe is out there and he's quicker still. FaZe Max, quicker still on this final run and looking good enough at the moment to beat Joni Mater for pole. This could well be our pole lap. Branch in the Aston Martin with his teammate down in 12th place. Really needs to get a good grid position for the team.
Yeah, Jimmy Allen looks like he spun after his lap, so if he was trying to set another one, it's not happening.
It's not happening, okay. Well, this is it then. FaZe Max, final braking zone, final area of traction to get away out of the last corner. Sprints for the line and pole position, a 24.9 right at the death. Pole position for FaZe Max. We don't think Jimmy's going any faster. What about Huberto? He is slightly quicker than his previous time at this stage of the lap. That's just into sector 1, so we'll stay with Huberto because he may have something to say about that front row.
Yeah, he was quick through that turn 10, a little bit quicker than I think the last time, so he may have a lot of time to gain here. It looks like he and Franco are the only drivers out on track. I know Franco's in the pit, so Huberto is the last driver on track. 2.5 tenths just about down on his time. That would get him, I think, onto the front row. Can he get into pole with 1 corner left to go? Oh, he lost a lot of time there, I think.
Maybe the tyres have died off towards the end of this lap for Huberto, and it's P2. P2 for the Mercedes, driven by Huberto Mancini, and that was close. That was really, really close, Branch, at the front there. Yeah. FaZe Max will get the pole, though, and Huberto jumps up to 2nd place with Joni Mater, Jimmy Allen, Jamie, Florian Salad, Bob, Giovi, and Sarge, your top 10. I'm fully expecting everybody else to start on mediums.
Yeah, we've obviously we commentated on 2 races in Bahrain yesterday. Well, you did. I commentated on 1. And in both of those races, everyone outside the top 10 started on mediums. It is the preferred strategy, as we mentioned. The medium too hard because there's just less pit stop time lost. So absolutely. I would expect to see everyone out there doing that.
Branch, could you do me a favor and take some screenshots of the grid so that it doesn't interrupt the stream? We've got our pole then, FaZe Max on a 24.9, the only driver under the 25-second bracket, with Huberto Mancini, Joni Mater, Jimmy Allen, Jamie, Florian, Salad, Bob, Giovi, and Sarge, the top 10, as I said before. Then next up will be Raven, Vettel, Franco from 13th, with all the crowd behind him tonight. We've got Panda in 14th, and at the back of the grid, starting 15th in the Alpine, will be Matty. So we've got some great engagement going on in multiple different languages, Branch, on the stream. And I think there's a little bit of friendly ribbing going on between the supporters of various drivers. I haven't been able to track exactly who everybody's here for, but welcome if you're joining us after qualifying and you managed to see that grid setup. We're looking forward to an amazing first race of the season here in F11.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you mentioned earlier that PSGL does use the approximate weather unfortunately for this track, we don't need approximate weather because we already know what's happening.
Yeah,
So
it's sunny with a chance of dust, I think, is pretty much the forecast in Bahrain, unless they go for that guaranteed weather for winter testing, in which case uh, snow or rain. So, um, yeah, I thought that was hilarious when they went for winter testing, and it was perfect weather in Barcelona, and at the same time they were having uh, thunderstorms in Bahrain. Brilliant stuff. Please, everybody, if you're enjoying what you see so far, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. As I'm sure you're aware, this is just F11 of 12 current PlayStation leagues, and I believe 5 or 6 PC leagues on this very channel. And you can look forward to some fantastic racing several days a week. Drivers just getting away from the line now, then branch for the formation lap.
yeah, just the first race of many for this season in PSGL. So excited to see how these drivers are able to start their seasons off. Obviously, it's not about how you start out, about how you finish, but getting a good start can help with how you finish.
For
I think
sure.
all these drivers know that.
Yeah, and get you into a good mindset and help you focus those long practice hours that you need to put in to get this competitive on the game. If you think you've got what it takes, get your practice in now and try and sign up for next season. But meanwhile, do enjoy our season of racing that we've got ahead of us. It looks like we've got a Ferrari in the barriers already on the formation lap. Unfortunately, Branch.
Does he
I
have
chuckle because I
damage?
know it's your favourite team. So
Yeah, and
it
I
wasn't
can't tell
Vettel
if there's
this
any
time.
damage.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Um,
In fact, it was
yeah.
Vettel. Second spin in Bahrain for Vettel in the Ferrari, unfortunately. Uh,
Um, don't know if it was the typical Vettel spin that we have come to know and love, as I've as I've talked with you before about. But he is making his way back to the grid, trying to get his spot back. He doesn't lose his spot by spinning on the formation lap, unlike in real life. Luckily for him.
but damage doesn't carry over either, does it?
I do not believe no.
No. Well, the Red Bulls together in 7th and 8th on the grid. But apart from that, Branch, the teams are completely separate, and they may not have to do many many team-related moves, particularly for Ferrari and McLaren, who only have the one representative at the race tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how many of these drivers who are teammates are in parties together, talking about team strategy possibly.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon at all, and it would definitely help in terms of just staying away from each other on track.
So Phase Max on the right, as we look down the starting grid, with Huberto on the inside line to turn 1, Joni Mater in 3rd, and Jimmy Allen in 4th. Those are your leaders, and I think Branch will probably help me by watching from near the back and try and catch any key moments on the alternate view. But the lights are on. And it's lights out. Short pause before it's away we go with PSGL's F11 round 1, as the Williams on the outside of Joni Mater coming alongside the pole man. We've got a 3-wide battle into the front. It looks like, will Phase Max be able to hold on? Yes, just about, but he'll be vulnerable down into turn 4.
We've got an Alpine and McLaren off in the back.
Down
And
comes,
another
yeah,
Alpine
both
off, and Aston
Alpines.
Martin's out.
We've got the Williams coming up
got a
the inside of
massive
Joni
accident.
Mater, and we're going side by side into turn 5. We know this doesn't work, and very sensibly Phase Max backs out and lives to fight another day later in the race. We've got a safety car immediately in this race, and how often have we seen that, Branch, in the first lap of Bahrain?
Yeah, I don't know if you were able to catch it. The Panda and Maddie in the back. I don't know exactly how it happened, but it was a roaming Grosjean type of incident.
Oh.
Panda came across the front of Maddie into the barrier. Both of them lost wheels, and now both are out of the race.
Okay, we've lost 2 of our 15 runners, sadly. So Alpine and Aston Martin down to 1 driver each for their team standings. Jamie in the other Alpine, he certainly was off track at the start, as well as dropped down 8 places, with Florian in the McLaren down 6 as well. This could well mean that those drivers, if they've got damage, may elect to go on an alternate strategy. But is it too early for our drivers to head in the pits and put different tyres on at this point, Branch?
If you think you've got the pace, I wouldn't necessarily put it past you to go in right now for some mediums and just essentially do a one-stop strategy from the back of the grid.
Exactly, that happens with Huberto Mancini, with Jovi and Vettel all pitting at the same time. So it looks like Huberto has gone for medium tyres. We've got Florian in the McLaren. No visible or repairable damage happening, medium tyres for him. Jamie has put on new boots as well. I can't see which ones those are at this stage, unfortunately. But medium tyres all around, Branch. No one braving the hards just yet.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Hards coming out of that safety car would be very difficult to get warm.
Yeah.
So I think they're thinking maybe we just go on the softer compound tire. Vettel as well came into the pits. He was on the medium tires to start, but it looked like he had a front wing change. So understandably, with the safety car, deciding to go to the back of the grid to get a fresh front wing.
I mean, that's going to slow down our drivers, the restart as well, now that all those drivers have pitted. I know Jamie and Vettel will have stepped back away from the grid. So did you get an idea of just how big the impact was?
I was on board with it when it happened. It was a pretty big impact. Not as heavy as the Grosjean, as I mentioned. It was similar, not as heavy, but definitely a big impact, as it took both of them out of the race. So, are we using standard damage or simulation damage?
It's standard and standard rate of damage as well, I believe.
Yeah, then it was definitely a heavy impact.
Right.
Because, We've seen people go into the wall before in standard and damage and be able to, be perfectly fine. So, I'm thinking the safety car should come in this lap. I don't know when they'll call it in. I know yesterday in our Div 1 race for another league that we do, it got called in very, very late.
Yeah.
And tripped a couple people up. So,
definitely.
Looks like the safety car's lights are still on.
Yeah, it's not coming in now. So we go around again. We've got the top 6 on soft tyres and everybody else running around on mediums. A mix for Raven and Franco on older mediums. Everybody else, of course, pitted for new mediums under the first safety car period. Hopefully we won't see many more of these, but certainly wouldn't be the first safety car period I've seen repeated in league racing around this track. This track encourages close racing, but unfortunately that means, Branch, it also encourages accidents.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite tracks in terms of just pure racing. There are very many corners where the entry is wide, the exit is wide, and it's very easy to go through side by side, continuing throughout the lap. I've seen a lot of battles continue side by side for almost the entire course through this lap, aside from turn 6 and 7, where you do really have to kind of go single file through there. As we've seen, I don't know if we'll see it today, but we've seen a lot of side by side and very badly in that turn this weekend.
We do have a really, really good start for the Williams team, gaining a total of 8 places between the two drivers. Sarge with 6 places up to 4th place, and of course the leader, Joni Mater, with less places to gain, but up into the driving seat, almost driving the safety car and bump running the safety car around that corner.
Very much doing what Lewis Hamilton does to Burt Mylander.
Yeah.
Pushing him along. Unfortunately, there is no radio to talk about, as the safety car will be coming in this lap.
Exactly. I saw that exactly the same moment as you. Lights go out of the safety car. So Joni Mater will become the de facto safety car and will be on his way to the restart. We'll keep an eye on all the permutations as they follow through the rest of the race. But currently Joni Mater being very, very aggressive on these tyres. Not sure how necessary that is on the softs branch, but waiting. We're at the pit entry and we still haven't got racing. And now we go with Joni Mater presses the loud pedal and screams down towards turn 1, hugging that pit wall and forcing the Aston Martin to the outside. We've got the Red Bulls getting very racy. A really late lunge by Salad. Challenging for third place, but Jimmy Allen holds off. Salad will have a go into turn 4, and it looks like FaZe Max will have a go as well. So we've got side by side Joni Mater on the inside, just riding the Aston Martin out, but we managed to all get through that corner branch without incident. Thankfully, the top 4 have made it through this time.
And no spins this time. We seem to have at least gotten through this part of the lap. Some pretty close racing in the back. I was going to mention the Red Bulls and the AlphaTauris both started next to each other on the grid, but already have spread out after an interesting start.
Looks like Bob lost out a couple of places in that melee into turn 1. All the soft runners were at the front. Bob has dropped back behind 2 of the medium runners of Raven and Mancini, Huberto Mancini, of course. So drivers just trying to get back in their rhythm. Looks like a nice close battle we've got in the top of the grid as FaZe Max is getting aggressive here and getting very, very close as they head down towards the start-finish line again. This time Joni Mater hugs that pit wall, forces the Aston Martin to the outside. We've got a Red Bull behind them looking racy as well, Branch. Williams on the inside. It does look like FaZe Max is going to get through here, but just steps the car out slightly and manages to hold on. We were reverse rolls as we head into the next corner with Salad getting up the inside of the Alfa Romeo, but he's not yielding just yet. Jimmy Allen holds on bravely through 5, and we have just that change of the lead. FaZe Max from Joni Mater.
Sarge on the inside of Salad. Salad wasn't paying attention, and Sarge just took the position from him.
Wow,
Very
0 for Salad in that sequence of corners. Put a great move on and ended up costing himself momentum. But we head down to turn 11 now. Joni Mater following the Aston Martin. Looks like FaZe Max has got those tyres in a better operating window right now and is gapping Joni Mater by quite a decent rate. Jamie, looks like we've lost Jamie, and I hope with that yellow flag that doesn't mean another safety car, and we have got another safety car.
I think we will see some soft tire runners heading into the pits here. Maybe some will decide to stay out to brave it. FaZe Max will be entering as the Joni Mater.
It looks like everybody heading into the pits together, apart from Raven, who inherits the lead, as does Mancini. But everybody else branch in the pits, even people on fairly new mediums. We've got FaZe Max being the first car to brave the hard tyres, followed by Jimmy Allen as well. So Raven inherits the lead from Huberto Mancini from Jovi. Oh, very tight moment there as Raven had to slow for the safety car.
I don't think he expected the safety car to be there. Maybe forgot he was in the lead. But Huberto Mancini, who has pit after that first safety car, now with this one, essentially inherits the second place he already had.
Right. So
a very, very good pit stop strategy for him through these safety cars.
Hard tyres for our top 3 as they pitted into on lap 5. So all on the same strategy, and the race will come to them a little bit later on, maybe another 10 laps down. If we can get 10 consecutive racing laps, that's what we're looking for. And actually see people get to the end of their tyre life rather than just keep swapping.
So out of the, I believe, 10 drivers that pit, or 9 drivers, excuse me, 2 of them, Salad and Sarge, decided to go into the medium tires. Interesting call there, I would say. Although I don't really know if the hard tires are going to be able to make it to the end of the race like many people, I think, they seem to think.
Yeah, I don't know if I've actually seen uninterrupted racing for enough laps to judge the tyre life of the hard tyres. on this new game branch yet, but I'd estimate in the region of 20.
Yeah, I would say probably around 18 to 20 is what I would think. With the safety car laps, obviously it will help them get a little bit farther in the race. I think the safety car will be going around one more time, so that will help them out with tire life even more, as I think we'll have 22 laps of racing to go when we start again at the end of this lap.
Yeah, so Infinite says 18 on the hard tyres. That's his estimation or experience at least. Pole position was a 24.9. Nova asks in the chat, 24.9. We did get just underneath the 125 barrier with Phase Max stealing it right at the end of the session.
Yeah, so I'm wondering how long these guys at the front are going to be able to last at the front. They're on more of a traditional one-stop strategy than anyone else on the track right now. Salad and Sarge are with where we are in the race at the moment. This would have essentially been the first pit stop of a traditional two-stop race. Everyone else is on essentially an alternate strategy with pitting for hards very early, so we will maybe see at the end of this race a lot of those guys struggling on those very worn hard tires. It will be interesting to see how that strategy plays out. I really think they're going to have to pit again if they want to either make it to the end of the race or have pace in the last few laps.
I'm going to be keeping an eye, Branch, on Sarge and Salad here, who will have much easier time with a restart on medium tyres relative to the cars ahead of them. I wonder if Salad from 7th and Sarge from 11th will manage to gain some track position in this first lap.
Yeah, I would expect it. You know, I mentioned earlier the hard tires are extremely hard to get warmed up on under a safety car. So, as the safety car has confirmed, it will be in this lap. The mediums are a lot easier to warm up, especially with how fresh those mediums are. I would expect Salad and Sarge to have extreme pace compared to those around them for this first lap or two.
Well, let's keep an eye on those drivers, but I will be watching from the front, as you would expect. Sebastian in the chat predicting a Bernd Mailander win, which is not a bad estimate at this current rate. Raven is now made it onto the start-finish straight. Giovi risking a penalty, but will start virtually alongside the Mercedes of Mancini ahead. So, but had to back out, I think, because then the Williams of Joni Mater is coming down the inside into turn 1. Will there be enough racing room? I think there will be.
Oh, we've got a spin in the back. Alfa Romeo around.
Wow, okay. So it looks like Joni Mater, we're going to head 3 wide, Branch, into turn 1. Not quite. Joni Mater going up the inside, I think, will hold on those new hard tyres. Done a good job keeping them warm, as the Aston Martin of Phase Max doesn't want to let Joni Mater get away too fast. And Giovi finds himself being swamped by cars into the turn 7-8 section. So good restart on those hard tyres from Joni Mater and Max. Who did you see spin? It was Jimmy Allen, was it?
It was Jimmy Allen. Yeah, he. I think he may have been tagged by a Red Bull. As we mentioned, Salad, who did actually not get a very good start on those medium tires. Sargent, however, who was ahead of Salad. Salad was, I think, 3 or 4 positions ahead of Sarge at the beginning of the safety car period. So,
great restart.
Giovi, obviously, getting swamped, as you mentioned, down into 5th place already. But there is a massive gap between him and Franco, essentially creating a second pack, if you will.
Okay.
So we've got some battling going on the front. Raven trying to make a move on Humberto Mancini. Oh, Huberto, excuse me.
Huberto has actually got by on the way out of 14, presumably using some ERS there, as Mancini goes into first place for the Mercedes.
Oh, Raven's around! All on his own, coming out of turn 3. He just got a little bit too much power and just spun the car right around. That's going to put him in the back, very far back.
Right in the back. Right in the back, unfortunately. Yeah, managed to avoid another yellow flag, which is good news for us and anybody watching along, because we've had enough of those already.
Oh, we got Sarge around as well. I don't know how that would happen. I didn't get to see it, but
Yeah.
he will now have to come around on very hot tires after the great start he had on those mediums.
And it's so hard to get, once the tyres have spun up or got dirty, it's so hard to get back up into racing speed, Branch.
Yeah, he's going to really have to be careful for these next few laps. Just make sure he gets around, cools the tires down before he starts to get aggressive again.
Huberto has already put a second on Jonimator at the front now. Those medium tyres working very, very nicely, and has been helped by the fact that Raven turned around. So a gap developing there at the front between first and second. FaZe Max just struggling to get out of turn 14 and staying on terms with Jonimator. Might be tempted to have a little look and a lunge, but no, too far back on the way into one. Will get a second bout of DRS on the next straight, and they head down towards turn 4, but it looks like just people playing a little bit nicer at the moment as Salad makes up another place, up to P6 over Florian.
He's got some great pace going on right now in those mediums. He didn't have a very good start, but right now he has a lot of pace under his belt.
Talk to me about how much time management those hard tyre runners are going to have to get involved in at this stage. They don't want to burn them up too quickly.
Yeah, they're going to have to really, really protect their tires. You can't be attacking every corner as if you were on the softs in qualifying. You're really going to have to allow the race to come to you. Maybe even if there's drivers behind you who are faster, let them go. Let them burn up their tires before you do.
It must be very tempting, though, for Jonimator to want to hang on to Roberto Mancini's pace. But they are in different races at this stage, and there's certainly going to be an earlier pit stop for Mancini. Jonimator will be looking in their mirrors quite considerably right now as they head down towards... Yeah, that's not going to help as DRS is enabled for FaZe Max. And they head down around the outside. I think they'll get them before the braking zone. How deep will Jonimator brake? Deep enough to nudge the back of the Aston Martin, but no harm and no foul committed. Though it's quite easy to get yourself a warning for collision, even just a small little rub on the back of the diffuser branch.
Just the slightest little tap can get you a warning. Luckily, it takes a few warnings with collisions to get a penalty. So normally, just a small little tap won't get you there all on its own.
So it's lap 11 of 29. We've got Huberto Mancini on a different strategy in the lead, but gapping the rest of the field right now on those favourable tyres from FaZe Max in second and Jonimator in third. We've got Jovi, Franco and Salad in sixth. And Salad having a little bit of attention now back from Florian, who's not letting Salad get away, in seventh place, with Vettel in eighth after a couple of Bahrain spins tonight. Bob in ninth, Jimmy Allen is in 10th, and then following the safety car restart spins of Sarge and Raven, they find themselves at the back but still circulating, and there's a good chance of points tonight for our drivers if they can just keep it on the black stuff.
Yeah, with only 2 non-points places available right now, as FaZe Max is actually able to set the fastest lap of the race on those 5-lap old hard tires. That's pretty surprising.
Here comes Franco into the corner, I think. Early braking from the Alfa Romeo, and unfortunately he's just hung on. Good catch there, Branch.
Yeah, that was an amazing save right there. A lot of guys would probably try and floor it just a little bit too hard and spin it there. He was able to get the car under control. Was not able to take the position from Gio, but I think he's much happier just being on the track.
Yeah, just ride that curb on into turn 6, which is the dangerous play for your chances of keeping it pointing in the right direction. But yeah, fantastic save. I think he was kind of forced into making a lunge because Jovi braked so early, but car looking a little loose to my eye at least on the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people get massive snaps of oversteer so far. A lot of loose setups, trying to get the car turned in. That may just be due to a lot of aero, as I've noticed a lot of people use very high downforce setups here to get around these sweeping corners.
Yeah, yeah. And if you can hang on with less downforce, obviously you're definitely going to have an advantage with 4 decent straights in Bahrain. Plenty of time to catch a toe. 3 DRS zones, of course. So Franco heads down and might be tempted to have another go. He's a little bit closer, I think, this time, and he knows now that Jovi breaks early. But Jovi not so early this time. We've got Vettel and Bob exchanging places further down. There's Vettel on the inside of turn 1, Bob on the outside, riding over the curb. I'm surprised he didn't catch a penalty through there. In fact, now I mentioned the P word, Branch, we're doing very, very well on very light amount of penalties so far tonight.
Yeah, just Jimmy and Raven with 3-second penalties for getting 3 warnings. As I say that, Gio is spun coming out of turn 7, and he's out of the race.
I imagine, yeah, hit the wall and is out. And there we go, safety car time, people. Who had 3 safety cars on their prediction book? I don't think I did, but yeah, got to expect 1, but 3 is a little bit much. I don't know if Jovi fell or was pushed, Branch, but he goes round.
He spun it all on his own coming out of that turn 7. You know, that giant curve on the exit of the corner.
Right.
If you get on it with the power down, it's almost an auto spin, sending you into that wall on the left, and that's exactly what happened to him.
So what happens to Huberto's strategy? I'm sure with Tanapol mediums, it'd be a great time to get himself onto some hard tyres, Branch.
Yeah, I'd have to think he may be coming in here to finish the race out on some hard tires as he dives into the pits. And the hard tire runners looks like they will stay out. I was kind of expecting some of them to come in.
Yeah, no, Salad goes in the pits, as does Bob and Vettel, almost into the back of the Red Bull ahead. The Red Bull perhaps being a shade too cautious on entry into the pits. And Sarge goes in as well. Just Raven to find out whether Raven will go into the pits or not. Oh no, Raven had just come out of the pits.
Bob is coming out onto medium tires. You know, everyone actually coming out onto the medium tire here.
Yeah.
I'd have to think I don't know if the medium's going to be able to last that long.
Yeah, I mean the track will be fully rubbered in towards the end of the race, and the cars will be light. But yeah, still 15 laps, maybe 14 racing laps. I think that's certainly possible, but you won't want to do too much racing on those.
Yeah, the tires will be pretty shredded at the end of these 14 or 15 laps. If you're able to avoid the racing and just stick to your own race, that I think you'd be able to be fine. But any battling and that could lead to very worn tires at the end of the race.
Absolutely. So. Do you think FaZe Max, Joni Mater, Franco, Florian will be wondering if they've made a mistake here on strategy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the safety car, their tires will last just that little bit longer. They'll be able to cool them down, last maybe 1 to 2 laps longer. Unfortunately for them, not only will they have to now continue to save their tires, but the start of the safety car could be huge for the medium runners behind them, who will have an extreme pace advantage, as we mentioned during the last safety car.
Absolutely, yeah, and Salad and Bob will have experience of that. 2 very different sets of experience, but they're experienced nonetheless, and they'll certainly be able to draw on that and either improve on what they did before or match what they did before. So FaZe Max, Joni Mater, Franco and Florian. Franco, of course, has actually made up a lot of places here, so that will please his fans. 10 places up for Franco, up to P3 on the provisional standings in the AlphaTauri. The safety car formation has fully formed. It looks like we've got all our drivers together, and this gives a fresh chance to any driver who has had some dramas early in the race, Branch, and has managed to keep the car pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately for Raven, he pit a lap before the safety car came out onto a fresh set of hard tires. Could have gotten the free pit stop and maybe not lost as much time, but with his spin earlier, I think he may have just been in the same position he is now. But I think he might be in a pretty good position as he's on the hard tires, new hard tires with 14 laps to go. He may have the best tire wear at the end of this race compared to not only the medium runners but also the hard runners at the front.
Yeah, so potentially just playing a patient game for the second half of the race. We do still have 14 laps to go. It's been all drama so far. I think we've had some great racing though, and it's definitely a war of attrition for the drivers, with us having lost 4 of our runners already at this point. Refreshingly small amount of penalties, which is very nice to see. Our chat is absolutely full of Argentinian flags, so lots and lots of support for Franco. The flags are waving hard, and I hope they're waving quite as much at the end of the race. But a little bit of defensive job for these hard runners, certainly in the next few laps.
Yeah, they're going to have to play a lot of defense if they want to keep their position. And not only that, but they're going to have to battle with each other as well, which could cause a bit of a problem, although that may warm up their tires a little bit more. Just battling and heating them up.
How are we looking on the safety car? We'll go in. So Phase Max will resume racing right now, and Joni Mater is there away. I think Franco has got the best chance as we head up, looking like we're 3 or 4 wide, depending on the braking zone. Further down in the grid, another big lunge from Salad. He's fond of that late lunge into turn 1, but it didn't work out this time, and he's now defending from the Mercedes of Huberto. Vettel gained a place, I do believe. So Huberto back on the attack, but no change in the top 4 or 5 cars on the restart. Looks like Salad looking racy.
Vettel and Huberto made some contact, but not too much. I don't think. It didn't look like it caused any damage, as Vettel was still pretty quick compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah.
So, up at the front, Phase already with an 8/10 gap.
Yeah, he really kept everybody guessing in that restart.
And Joni Mater is having to defend from Franco behind him. Obviously no DRS for these first 2 laps after the safety car, but the slipstream is still pretty heavily in the favor of the driver behind in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Franco will want to make...
Again.
No, really?
And Jimmy around, and it looks like Bob may... Nope, never mind. I thought Bob got tangled up with him, but he was able to get through it. But Jimmy spins yet again, and on those fresh mediums, already tearing them up. If he's going to try and get to the end of the race, that's not going to help.
Well, here comes Franco down the start-finish line on Joni Mater. It's got a great run out of the final corner. Looks like Joni Mater's going to make him go around the outside. Can Franco hold on? No, Joni Mater brakes very late, so there's an opportunity for a switchback. Early traction attempt. Oh, tentative from Franco. Right, yeah, and both drivers living to fight another day. Looks like Franco may well win a controller by the body language of that car. Just wiggling around in very small increments, unless that's some sort of connection issue. But patient driving from our drivers, which is great to see. Looks like, just to confound that, we're going to have Salad still very, very much on the attack, and he is pushing hard. Huberto is playing a watching brief and just dying for Salad to make another lunge so he can just drive on by. And that might happen here because Salad really compromised in the traction zone out of that tricky turn 10. Huberto not able to get an overlap into turn 11.
Salad seemed to have more straight line speed there. I don't know if that was based on ERS or what, but Huberto did lose a little bit of time there in that straight.
Yeah.
We saw Joni Mater go wide in turn 10, and Florian goes wide.
So did Florian, 12. Yeah, big time. I don't know if that's tyre drop off or just warming them. Certainly he's going to look wide and leery compared to the much better medium tyres of Salad. Salad now on the attack, but Florian's got good top speed here, Brunch. This time Franco's not close enough to make an attempt either, so Salad just consolidating where he found himself, maybe looking to try and make a run down into turn 4. Yes, he is. And Florian taking the defensive line. He owns that inside line of turn 4. but a bit of a wiggle cost Salad. He had to hesitate on the throttle, and here comes Huberto in the Mercedes. I've just got that feeling that we're heading for trouble again, Branch.
That was very, very close. Florian lost the back end there with a snapping oversteer. It wasn't intentional, obviously, for him to go into the front of Salad like that, but nonetheless, it happened, and now Florian is trying to recover from it, as is Salad, who lost a lot of time because of it. He had to get out of the gas completely, not to spin both of them.
We've got a big time DRS train, really nullifying any advantage that it conveys on the following drivers. So we may need to wait for one of these gaps to open up so we can get some good racing and speed differences between the two cars. Lap 18.
With all that battling phase, Max was able to get a pretty good jump on the foot. He's already a second and a half away out of the DRS zone, and with the way the battling has been going on right now, as I think Franco is going to have a lot of speed on Joni Mater. I don't know if he'll be able to catch up here, but he will get close. Maybe
Salad to the outside as well. Yeah, trying that move again. Will he get the power down? He gets a good line. This should help him on the way down to turn 4 with the DRS open, but of course Florian still has that DRS. Florian hanging on for dear life to these hard tyres for long enough to show the way to the medium runners once their medium tyres start to die off at a greater rate than their hard tyres do. But he's got to wait a couple of laps before that moment comes, and he's really looking in his mirrors the whole way around this track.
Yes, Salad's clearly got the grip advantage, I should say, but in the straights, Florian does seem to have a little bit of a advantage. Both of them are completely out of ERS at this point, so that really is of no service to either of them. I would say Huberto actually is in a pretty good spot behind both of them, as he's got some ERS saved up.
Way, there we go.
Florian lost it.
Florian, yeah, big moment. Massive tank slapper for Florian. It's cutting both ways on the track. Thankfully, nobody ran into him, but unfortunately, that's Florian in the McLaren down to P10 and the back of the grid tonight.
I'd have to say that looked like a rear lock going into that corner.
Right.
With ABS off, you can really... Oh, is Salad regenning, and Huberto's going to fly right past him on the straight using his ERS.
So easy move for Huberto. Maybe Salad spent too much hunting down Florian there.
It looks like that may have been the case. Franco and Joni Mater still battling and just extending the lead for Face Max, as we see Sarge and Florian are both onto the soft tires to the end of the race. They will be very quick, but very far back.
Absolutely. Franco still working hard at the wheel to try and stay with Joni Mater and hold on to this podium. But here comes the medium runners. Branch, Huberto, Salad, Bob, Vettel. These guys still trying to gain those track positions they voluntarily handed over when they went in the pits. But they still need to keep these tyres running to the end of the race.
Yeah, and also we should mention Joni Mater picked up a 3-second penalty for track limits earlier on in this lap, so he now is vulnerable to the 3 drivers behind him who are all within that 3 seconds.
Yeah.
If it stays that way, he would end up finishing 5th place, with Franco and Hubert moving up a spot, as well as Salad.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys really chained to the back of this Williams. Franco has reserved a lot more ERS as well, and they head down the start-finish straight. He's going around the outside. He's got an overlap under braking and just gets his rear wheel in front of the front wing of the Williams, gets a favourable line on the way out, and I think Joni Mater, having lost 1 place, is now vulnerable to another move down into turn 4.
He's going to go for it on Franco, but I think Franco
goes around the outside.
Better line.
Yeah, it looks like Franco's got the better line and the better grip, and heads up to P. Wow.
Wow, what an overtake that was.
That was opportunistic and would not have been expected, as it looks like Salad and Huberto swapping places again. Huberto getting ahead this time, but what a defense from Joni Mater. I thought that was all done and dusted.
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers would have at that point given up the position just to stay on the track, but Joni Mater
Franco has
kept
had enough,
attacking.
and press is the ERS pedal. Presses the button for ERS and
It's a little wide though.
sprints away. Maybe caught himself out there with the additional speed on the way into the corner. Oh, it's tight. It's really tight, and the drivers are going to have to give Franco a little bit of a wide berth because he's got some connection issues, Branch, and that's a bit of a nightmare if you're trying to race hard and fast.
Yeah, we've got Vettel spinning once again.
Boom! There we go. Rear-ended, just as I was saying, and Journey Mater rear-ends Franco off into the sand, and Franco will lose place after place after place as he heads down the start-finish straight with no momentum anymore. Journey Mater can't hold off Huberto. Journey Mater, with that impact, would have had to have got out of the throttle pretty quickly. So we've got a Aston Martin in the front of the field, followed by a Mercedes, then a Williams who is hanging on, but it looks like Salad in the Red Bull and Bob, the Red Bull team, doing very well at this point in the race, on the hunt, and Joni Mater struggling now to hang on with that penalty as well.
Yeah, I don't know if Joni Mater got any damage out of that. Didn't look like he did. Franco also possibly with the new damage model could have received some diffuser or possibly rear wing damage.
Would you have been tempted to try and cut across into the pits with 7 laps to go, Branch?
It would have been an interesting call. You know, he is on some pretty heavily worn hards. It wouldn't have been a terrible idea after losing those places to dive into the pits, put on some softs, and be a very quick car.
But it's still a tight battle for the podium places. It looks like we're going to see at least one Red Bull on the podium, if not two, with both of them running these medium tyres and hoping to catch up. Let's keep an eye on that gap at the front. Phase Max leading this race by 3.5 seconds from Huberto Mancini, and Joni Mater in third. Although, is that about to change with Salad going around the outside? Joni Mater, this fantastic defensive driving so far. Not necessarily fantastic offensive driving, because we saw going to the back of Franco, but through this section Joni Mater is able to hang on in a way I've not actually seen before, Branch.
Oh, contact made!
That
and
was
he's going to be
contact.
pushed wide by Salad. Not necessarily aggressive contact by Salad. He had the line and was on the curve.
Down comes Bob as well into that turn 8, and Bob gets underneath but can't get the foot on the pedal. How's this going to go through turn 9, 10? Bob sweeps around the outside, beautifully controlled under braking despite a different wide line, and sprints away to catch up with his teammate as we've got Franco now has resumed battle and will have Joni Mater in his sights. That looks interesting.
Bob's overtake looking like more of just a tire advantage than anything else. On those fresher medium tires, he was able to get around Joni Mater pretty easily.
Yeah. Phase Max gap pretty steady, 3.6 seconds still. So Huberto Mancini not able to sprint too hard. He's on 8-lap-old mediums now. I think a lot of that initial bite out of the mediums will have gone away as Franco comes at the inside. That's one of the first times I've seen Joni Mater yield the inside going down at the start-finish straight. So Franco has the opportunity to brake slightly later, take his own line, and very clean pass from Franco into turn 1. Joni Mater unable to fight back.
Didn't even really defend going into that corner necessarily. I think he may have locked up going into turn 1 because he just didn't have any aggressiveness coming out of that corner.
That was uncharacteristic. We've seen some very hard defensive driving and it just didn't seem to work that time around. But Franco gets back past and is still hanging on to hope of getting a good result out of tonight despite that wayward moment into the final 2 corners. Looks like Salad is on the hunt as well for second place from Huberto. I thought Huberto would be racing up towards the back of Phase Max, but I wonder, is Phase Max just managing that gap at this point, Branch?
Yeah, he may have done a lot of tire management to get himself where he is right now. Obviously, we don't have any data to tell us where his tires would be at this point in the race. But it
No,
seems
we
like
just got
the way
that
he's
new graphic between, I think it was between Franco and Journey Mater. We got that new tyre usage graphic came up on my screen, but I haven't had it for Huberto and Phase Max at this point.
yeah, the only really judge we have between them is the gap as Salad is
A late
closing
lunge
it
from
up very
Salad again.
quickly. A little bit of
Really likes
contact.
that attempt, but he spent everything of his ERS going down the start-finish straight. He's going to attack
He's
again.
got
He's going to spend everything again.
yes.
Going for the inside line into 4.
That was great defensive
Huberto,
driving, I would say. And
well,
Huberto's going to keep his
that was
position.
an aggressive sweep back. Didn't give Salad much of an option other than yield, but that's what he did.
Yeah,
So,
I like the way Huberto was able to keep his car in the middle of the track,
right,
forced Salad to choose that really underwhelming inside line. You have to brake a lot heavier for that line, and you also have to, in turn, lose traction because of it. So,
5 laps to go
Huberto's
then in this Bahrain Grand Prix round 1 of F11 PlayStation Championship. Phase Max has the lead and is extending that lead to Huberto with Tosmo Salad, Bob, Franco, the top 5, and then with penalties, Journey Mater in the Williams, John Raven, Vettel, Sarge, and Florian is right at the back, but without penalty in the McLaren. So 5 laps of racing left to run, just about 4 in fact, very shortly as Phase Max is about to cross the line.
yeah, Phase Max just getting helped a little bit by the fact that everyone behind him has been battling for so long. But still, even with that, he is doing extremely well to keep that gap the way it is. I wouldn't be surprised if he lost some tire life right at the end here. His tires will, at the end of the race, be about 22 laps old.
But at the
Almost
moment,
entire race.
he's keeping that cushion to second place, and Huberto seems to have more of a problem holding back Salad than he does catching Phase Max.
Yeah. Salad is really aggressive right now. Definitely looks like the faster of the two drivers, at least through the corners. Both of them without ERS, which is not helping either of them at the moment.
No one at the in the second, third, fourth places have really reserved anything for the end of the race on their ERS. But Salad has been fighting most of this race long.
And we've seen, excuse me, a lot of these drivers in the top positions, aside from Phase, have been battling ever since the end of that third safety car.
Yeah.
So
and is it extra difficult then to keep an eye on your tyre usage if you're focusing on the car in front, the car behind? You're not necessarily thinking about easing the car in and out of the corners.
Absolutely, battling just in general takes away from your tires, and when you're doing it as long as these guys have, a Salad is going to go down the inside, and it looks like he will get completely past Huberto into the braking zone.
Yeah,
Huberto
spent everything, but he didn't have to do one of his late lunges. He'd already got past, so up to second place for Salad, 3.7 gap at the front.
Here, though, neither of them have ERS, but the DRS will be with Huberto, but not enough straight line speed to catch up to Salad, and I think Salad may be able to pull away here through this section right here.
Yeah, but these 3 drivers really slowing each other down and just bringing the race to Phase Max. Even if his tyres are starting to fade, he is he's doing amazingly on 20 lap old hards. The estimate we'd seen was up to 20 and not beyond, but 3 cars in this grid currently managing to limp these hard tyres towards the end. We'll see if Journey Mater and Franco can get to the end without a pit stop. If they do decide to stop for tyres, though, of course, that gives them the option to try and beat Sarge's fastest lap, which is a 127.4, which he has set on soft tyres. Everyone is eligible for that fastest lap point that's left running in the race tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Phase may be starting to lose some pace here. As that gap is starting to slowly fall, but with only 2 laps left to go, I don't know if it's enough for him to lose his spot. As Salad is weaving down the straight, trying to make sure Huberto doesn't have a slipstream. Huberto gonna try to beat him down and braking side by side, and it looks like he has the position. Salad's gonna go around and gets contact from behind by his teammate. and it
Wow.
looks like he will be more susceptible to his teammate than anything else.
Yeah,
Salad
because
losing out big
Salad the
time
one
here.
down the straight there without the DRS, having been passed once. So I did think Salad was about to drive away, but Huberto gamely hanging on and wants the second place tonight very badly indeed. We've got an Aston Martin from a Mercedes and 2 Red Bulls, your top 4.
Yeah, I gotta say, Face Max's pace is looking really bad here. Even with the battling going on, they are still closing up to him, but with only a lap and a half left, I don't think they're gonna have enough time to catch up to him unless he starts to really fall off on this last lap. He may be looking at a possible puncture. I don't know. I think the front left tire is the one that gets worn the most here in Bahrain.
Yeah.
So it would be that one that would get punctured first.
So a big lift through 13 to try and save that tyre. That will be his main aim. Push the brake bias backwards and try and get the temperatures off the front tyres as much as possible into the braking zones. And we go with it. It's the final lap of our race tonight. Stick with us and stick around. We're going to try and get to talk to some of our drivers, but at the moment FaZe Max hanging on to those really old tyres. They will see 23 laps at the end of this race. Still, the tightest battle on the grid is Salad trying to get back on the podium. He's gapped his teammate significantly. I wonder if his teammates' tyres have had enough or he's spent everything. But we know that Salad isn't shy of pressing the ERS button. So he's just toying around with up to about 15% of ERS and then spending it. But it's just spend it now or it's just wasted on you if you don't spend it on this lap.
Yeah, this may be his last opportunity to overtake here.
But
with the
Huberto,
DRS
amazing out of 10. Fantastic traction out of 10 there.
That was a major move by Huberto to get that traction, because it looks like Salad may not have the pace to keep up with him through the rest of this lap. He's not going to have DRS going down this last straight, and without his ERS, he's not really going to have much of a chance to have overspeed on Huberto. Huberto is regenning, but so is Salad.
Well, FaZe Max is going to come through the final corner and hang on to these tyres. 23 laps on hard tyres. FaZe Max with the win in Bahrain wins round 1 of PSGL's F11 with Huberto Mancini. A brilliant battle with Salad to finish off our podium. Bob gets 4th place for Red Bull and Franco will get a 5th place despite those dramas. Looks like Jody Mater hanging on to 6th place despite the penalties, and Raven in 7th place. Started after the last safety car right at the back. Raven up to 7th place. We've got Vettel taking the 8th place there. Florian and I think the McLaren perhaps would have got by to finish in 9th place at the end of the race. There's FaZe Max in the chat. first to say good game, everyone. So congratulations to Max. We just need that screenshot again shortly, Branch, if you don't mind. But we've got the winner with the trophy in Bahrain is FaZe Max in the Aston Martin, starting as he means to go on in F11, and he'll be really pleased that the first race of a 10-race championship. He gets, I was going to say maximum points, but I don't think he has got the fastest lap. So, good race, and Huberto Mancini with a fantastic defence and battle with Salad on the 3rd position there. So,
yeah, that was a great drive by FaZe. Fully expected him to have to pit at some point, but he just didn't.
No,
he was able to hang on to those tires. Luckily, the guys behind him battled so hard that by the time there was clean air available to Huberto, he didn't have any life left in his tires and just wasn't able to capitalize on anything.
Absolutely. Just confirming then your result: FaZe Max from Huberto Mancini and Salad, Bob, Franco, Joni Mater and Raven, your top 7, followed by Vettel, Florian, Sarge with the fastest lap of the race, finishes it at the back of the grid, and then our non-finishers were Jimmy Allen, Jovi, Jamie, Panda, and we lost Matty very early on, unfortunately. Fantastic race. I think Max is going to decline. He's going to keep us waiting while he learns a little bit more English. Max, let us know any further if you can in the chat how your race went. If you're feeling a little bit underconfident about having an interview, we understand that, no problem at all. They're optional, but it'd be great to talk to you at some point later on if you can. Let us know how your race went, and I'll see if we can get Salad and Huberto in our interviews. I won't be able to hear you right now, Branch, unfortunately, for a moment. But you go ahead and prepare some questions for our drivers, and I'll try and invite them to the party if I can. Stick around with us. Remember, please subscribe to the PSGL channel and have a look at the other leagues that are available. Don't have a look at any of the other leagues that are available on at 7 p.m. on a Sunday, of course. Make sure you stick around with our race. But like I mentioned before, lots of racing all through the week on YouTube, on the PSGL channel, and we very much hope to catch you again next week. The same time for us. Hopefully we'll get going that shade faster as well. Almost there with the invites, so just a moment. I think Salad might have disappeared on us. Was there any letters ahead of his name for Salad? No. There we go. Let's see if we can get them in. We'll hang around for a few minutes, Branch, but what are your impressions of that first race for F11? It looked like pretty close racing.
Yeah, pretty close racing. We saw 3 safety cars. The first one was a collision between 2 drivers that put both of them out of the race, but I think the other 2 might have just been individual incidents of just drivers spinning off, as we have Salad joining us.
Salad, just make sure that that audio setting is set to share, and we'll have a chat. Third place in the end, but overall, very aggressive, racy kind of a performance from you tonight. I'm not hearing you just yet, so I'll hang on. Might just be arranging a microphone. Salad. Hey, how was your race? I can't tell you. I can hear you, but someone will speak up in the chat shortly if they can't hear you. So carry on. Awesome.
Right, there we go. It should be done.
Good stuff. Sounds like you're talking to us from a long way away in and through a distortion microphone, but we will try and follow what you're saying. But yeah, it looked like you had an awful lot of action and fun battles tonight.
Yeah, some of the defending in front of me was very good, I gotta say. I struggled to get past a lot of people, but there was a few spins and crashes, and I just capitalised on those, really.
Yeah, it looked like you were full beans the whole race, full attack. Branch, any questions for Salad?
I guess what was your thought decision behind going onto the mediums on that under that second safety car, I believe is when it was. You had the tire advantage over a lot of the field and were able to capitalize on it.
I just thought there might be another safety car because we'd already had 2 and it was only about lap 5. So I just thought, might be another crash, so I'll risk it, and it worked.
Yeah. I mean, you had a very vintage move, I would say. Multiple times you were diving down the inside into turn 1 to make up positions. Is that something you are very adept at, that kind of that style of overtaking, or was that just something you saw did a lot today?
To be honest, it's not really how I race usually, but I just thought, well, I brake usually where I usually brake, and it ended up that other people had broken earlier. So I just thought, screw it. If it worked once, it might work again. So
Yeah, it was great watching you racing through the field. How did you feel about all your safety cars? Was it a nice rest, or would you prefer to be focused all through the race?
It depends where I am, to be honest. If I'm near the front, then it's not great. If I'm struggling a bit or my tires are gone, then quite nice to have them.
Yeah, you felt you maximized your strategy today. Were you expecting the race winner Max to need to pit on those hard tires?
No, I don't think so. I think because he had such an advantage, I think he could have had space to manage his tires a bit. So I thought he'd be all right.
Nice. Well, congratulations. I think that's a great result and a great race to watch. So great to get on the podium in the first race, and I'm sure you'll want to be there again next week.
Yeah, hopefully it's not my best track, but I'll give it my best shot.
Well, we look forward to it. Thanks very much for stopping by in the interview, Salad. I think, did Huberto join us?
No, he has not joined us yet.
He's not joined us yet. Okay. Well, we'll give him a minute or two more, but otherwise, as I'm fairly sure Huberto is in Wales, so his English will certainly be sufficient for broadcast. Yeah, Branch, I mean, that was our third race around Bahrain this weekend. And of course, if you've been watching the PSGL channel, I can't count how many races you will have watched in Bahrain this weekend, but it certainly lives up to its reputation of being good for racing and lots of action.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those tracks that you expect to see good battles, close battles, and we got that today. Up and down the field, lots of drivers staying together. Definitely hurting their races a little bit, I would say, with the battling.
Yeah.
That was mostly the reason I would say that FaZe Max was able to get such a clean win, is that when he got such a good jump on that third safety car, by the end of the first lap he was almost a second ahead, avoided the DRS, and with that essentially just giving himself the space he needed to run his own race while everyone else battled behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. Really a very cracking race. I just found his notes there. He said his race went really well. He got pole. It was also the best lap he's done in his PSGL history. He had a nice fight with Joni Mater, and he's very pleased, very happy. So there you go. Some words from our race winner, at least. It doesn't look like we're going to see our second place finisher. Unfortunately, Huberto may have had to run off to another appointment. But Branch, I hope you enjoyed your first commentary with F11. I know I did, and I'm looking forward to the next race next week.
Yes.
So remember
Absolutely, we're going to be in France.
Yeah, excellent.
Oh, sorry.
So I'll get my sunglasses ready for the stripy circuit. But yeah, set your calendar appointment for this time next week, and remember to like and share the video if possible. We will be here for you next week, and take care, everybody. We'll catch you on the next race day.